இலங்கை அரசாங்கத்தினால் மக்களின் ஊழியர் சிமலாப நிதியமானது திருடப்படுவதாக தமிழ் தேசிய கூட்டமைப்பின் நாடாளுமன்ற உறுப்பினர் சுமந்திரன் குற்றம் சுமத்தியுள்ளார். நேற்றைய தினம் நாடாளுமன்றத்தில் இடம்பெற்ற தேசிய கடன் மறுசீரமைப்பு செயற்திட்டம் குறித்த விவாதத்தில் கலந்து கொண்டு உரையாற்றும் போதே அவர் இவ்வாறு தெரிவித்துள்ளார். அவர் மேலும் தெரிவிக்கையில், அரசாங்கத்தினால் மக்களின் ஊழியர் சிமலாப நிதியம் திருடப்படுவது காலங்காலமாக பல்வேறு முறைகளில் மக்களின் ஊழியர் சிமலாப நிதியம் மற்றும் ஊழியர் நம்பிக்கை நிதியத்தில் மோசடிகள் இடம்பெற்று வருகின்றன. ஏனெனில் பெரும்பாலான மக்கள் நடுத்தர வர்க்கத்தை சேர்ந்தவர்களாக உள்ளனர். இதனால் அவர்கள் அரசாங்கத்துக்கு எதிராக குரல் எழுப்ப முடியாத நிலையில் உள்ளனர். அனைத்து வெளிநாட்டு முதலீடுகளையும் அம்பலப்படுத்தும் அரசாங்கம் ஏன் ஊழியர் சிமலாப நிதியம் மற்றும் ஊழியர் நம்பிக்கை நிதியம் குறித்த விடயங்களை அம்பலப்படுத்துவதில்லை? குறிப்பாக தேசிய கடன் மறுசீரமைப்பு விவாதத்தில் அரசாங்கம் ஒட்டுமொத்த மக்களையும் ஏமாற்றியுள்ளது. அது மட்டுமல்லாது ஊழியர் சிமலாப நிதியம் மற்றும் ஊழியர் நம்பிக்கை நிதியத்தை தமது இறுதிக்கால சேமிப்பாக கருதும் தோட்டத் தொழிலாளர்களுக்கு இந்த தேசிய கடன் மறுசீரமைப்பு நடவடிக்கையானது நிச்சயம் பாதிப்பை ஏற்படுத்தும். இதனை அமைச்சர் ஜீவன் தொண்டமான் ஏற்றுக்கொள்வாரா? தேசிய கடன் மறுசீரமைக்கப்படும் என சர்வதேசத்துக்கு உத்தியோகபூர்வமாக அறிவித்துவிட்டு மக்களை தவறாக வழிநடத்துவது முற்றிலும் தவறான விடயமாகும் எனவும் அவர் தெரிவித்துள்ளார்.
I wish to bring to the notice of this House and to the country the several false holdings that the government has been making to the country with regard to this domestic debt restructure. We have the one State Minister for Finance on record just 3 weeks ago. No, not yourself, the other State Minister, saying categorically that there will not be any domestic debt restructure. But in the cabinet memorandum that we have, that has now been placed before this House, the cat is out of the bag, because in pages 2 and 3, it says priority. I'm reading from page 3 of the Cabinet Memorandum, first line, priority being the implementation of the DDO described herein, domestic debt optimization. And then in parenthesis it says, which is also a stated precondition for the restructuring of FLFC debt owed to members of the ad hoc committee holders of Sri Lanka's international sovereign bonds. So now we are being told that there is a precondition with the international sovereign bond holders that there will be a domestic debt restructuring, and therefore this must be done first. This must be done first, priority for the implementation of DDO. So all this time you have lied to the country, saying there won't be domestic debt restructuring. At least an important, responsible, or ought to be responsible State Minister of Finance has said that. But that is not the case. Even while he was saying this, you had agreed with that ad hoc committee that first you will do a domestic debt restructuring. And it says it's stated, so obviously it is in writing as well. Having undertaken in writing to first do the domestic debt restructuring, you've been lying to the country that either it won't be done, or that you have not taken a decision with regard to that up to now. Our main objection to this restructuring plan is the impact that it will have on members of the EPF and ETF. These are the voiceless working class of the country. I say they are voiceless because even with regard to their own savings, they have no say. They can't make the decision. It's absolutely false when you say that this is voluntary participation. The Honorable Leader of the Opposition explained that so I'm not going to elaborately go into that matter. The EPF Act says the custodian is the monetary board. The monetary board members, Mr. Nihal Fonseca, Mr. Sanjeeva Jayawardena and Mrs. Rani Jayamahap, graciously attended the 2 long sessions of the Committee on Public Finance. But I want to ask them, are you being responsible custodians and making this decision on behalf of 2.5 million members, working class members of the EPF? Yesterday we had the superintendent of EPF tell the committee that they don't even know what this restructuring plan is. They have not been even given. He said he saw it on Facebook. That is the extent to which this enormous, this onerous responsibility cast is being exercised. We heard one member of the monetary board say, this is an important thing, this is a very serious thing, all of us will be dragged and hanged for doing this. He has understood the enormity, and I want to put them on notice that that is what will happen to them. If they dare take this decision of participating in this debt restructuring exercise without consulting the membership. No, it's not a big thing to consult the membership today. You can do a survey. If it is to be voluntary, it must necessarily have the consent or at least some views of the membership of the EPF. Otherwise, it is not voluntary. Don't lie to the country. Don't lie to these people that they are voluntarily participating in this matter. Now, the Honorable Prime Minister a moment ago said the fund lying to the credit of EPF is 3.5 trillion. The central bank accounts published end of last year says it's 3.4 trillion. So it's around that amount. Now we are unable to say this from any published account of the EPF because EPF does not publish their annual statements on time. At one point it was 6 years they hadn't published. Now they have published up to 2020. But 2021 and 2022 annual reports are still not with us. They have just now, because this question will be asked, they have published the financial statement. In the financial statement, again, they have misrepresented something to the country, and it's a very serious misrepresentation. I asked them this yesterday at the meeting. They said, give us 10 minutes to respond to you, and even after an hour, they had no response. And this is the issue. EPF law says they must publish the face value, purchase price, and market value of each of the investments. Those are the words in the law. But in their financial statement, they say the law requires us to publish the face value, purchase price, market value of each type of investment. They have changed. It's a false statement of what the law requires them to do. When that question was asked, they had no answer to give. Now, is this the body that is lying through their teeth when the law specifically says each of the investments? They are saying that the law says each type of the investment. Is this the body that can be trusted to be a proper custodian? And we have a history of EPF. Through bond scams, through various methods, EPF has been eaten into. You have always stolen from the EPF. All these platitudes from the Honorable Prime Minister falls flat on its face, because it's always the EPF and ETF that you have dipped your hand into, because they are voiceless, they are working class, and it's easy for you to do this. and you don't give them a voice. You don't give them a voice. You appoint the central bank, the monetary board, to be the custodians who make decisions on their behalf. This restructuring plan is theirs. Restructuring plans comes from the Treasury and the central bank, and it's the same very same people who make a decision on behalf of the EPF. There is no voluntariness at all. Now, government is able to publish on each of the investments of the foreign debt holders. Why? Because they insist on it. But EPF, you don't do that. Right? But thanks to that publication, we are able to tell you that the weighted average return of the entire treasury bond holding of the government today is 13.52%. 13.52%. That's our calculation. Right? And what are you assuring the EPF? 9.1%. When the weighted average is 13.52%, you are saying in 2038, the EPF will get a return of 9.1%. I'll come to the loss to the EPF. We have repeatedly asked the central bank to share with us the net present value loss to the EPF, and they have not given to us. But it's easily calculable. Easily you can calculate that. And I'm saying with responsibility, the net present value as at today, if you take the net present value today, the loss will be 47%. The loss to EPF holders will be 47%. That is the net present value loss to the EPF.